listen to your children. We are the leaders of tomorrow. Come and pay our school fees and give us sound education. Raise your hands if you know this song. All right, probably most people in my generation knew this song. And as I reflect on this song today, I like to think that there is actually a sentence in that song that we hear ever so often, and one that I would like us to change the narrative about starting today. And that line is, "We are the leaders of tomorrow." How many times do you get told as a young person that you are the leaders of tomorrow? Way too many times. My conversation to you today is to let you know that as a young person, as a child, as a teenager, your leadership journey begins now. You are not too young to lead. This morning, as I had my morning devotion, interestingly, everything coincided with the topic I was actually going to talk about today. And in 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12, it said, "Don't let anyone look down on you because you're young, but set an example for the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity." That's what Christianity tells us. Raise your hands if you're Christians in the room. All right. And for our Muslim brothers and sisters, we know that Islamic principles promote the idea that leadership should be based on piety, on wisdom, and on competence, rather than on age or your social status. We also know that as Muslims, we're encouraged to seek knowledge and understanding. Raise your hands if you're Muslims in the room, and you can identify with some of what I've said. Today, I want to let you know that as a young person, it's never too early for you to start. And we have several stories of powerful young people who are inspiring change around our world. Our very own Zuriah Oduwole, at the age of 10, started to make documentaries about African leaders and their efforts to improve education. Today, she's not so young anymore, but she continues on that path, on her advocacy. She's interviewed all kinds of world leaders, including our very own president, our former president, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. You all may have heard about Malala Yousafzai of Pakistan. How many of you have heard about her? Yeah? So at the age of 15, Malala survived an assassination attempt by the Taliban for advocating for girls' education in Pakistan. But that did not deter her. And since then, she's become a global advocate for girl-child education and inspiring millions of young people around the world. Malala was just a teenager, like most of you all who are sitting down here. How many of us have heard about Watson Muchemba from Zimbabwe? Watson, at the age of 15, started the Children of Zimbabwe War Veterans Association and created a platform to address the needs of young people that were facing challenges, struggles from the war in Zimbabwe. And they've been providing educational support and mentorship, and as well as advocacy for these children and ensuring that they have opportunities for brighter education. You are not too young to lead. These stories and the stories of many other young people, including of the young man who I learned about today, Chukwudibem Amasiani, a junior tennis champ. I was so inspired by his story. Remind us that age is not a barrier to leadership and that we are not too young to lead. There is power in youth. There is power in each and every one of you sitting down here today. And one of the things that makes us such a powerful group of people is that we're so creative as young people. We have adaptability. Our minds are very open. We're fearless. You heard some of your colleagues come up here today and speak with such strength. We're resilient as young people. And today, one of the things you can start doing to boost your chances of becoming a better leader is by finding opportunities to build your skills and competencies at a greater scale. I would strongly encourage you to identify important community service initiatives in your school and in your local community to be a part of. I would strongly encourage you to join different youth organizations on your campus, whether it's youth council, become a prefect, a library prefect, a school prefect. Those are important opportunities to help you to build your leadership skills. Currently, you have the privilege and the opportunity that most of us did not have at our age. You have access to several digital platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. How are you using those channels? These are important platforms for you to use to amplify your voices, to mobilize young and like-minded individuals, and to build strong allies. Are you doing that? You can also begin now to build and develop communication skills, critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, and teamwork. I can already see from what I gleaned here today that this is an institution that is preparing young people for leadership. Take advantage of that. And while you do this, you may face certain challenges. It may not always be easy, right? You may find people who are skeptic about your ability to do some of the things you say you want to do. You may not get the support that you need. You may find people who underestimate you merely because of your age. But I want you to know that by building strong supportive networks and learning from your failures, you'll be able to overcome those challenges. Collaboration is also a very key aspect of overcoming challenges. And I'll tell you one important great story about collaboration. In 2016, a group of young Nigerians decided that it was high time that we ended the exclusion that was brought about by the Nigerian Constitution by coming up with a bill or a movement that will reduce the age qualification for running for elective office. We know that democracy is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. But until 2018, young Nigerians were actually excluded from leading, from running for elective office. But through the Not Too Young to Run, a group of young Nigerians collaborated at state and at national level, and they were able to reduce the age qualification for running for elective office so that before you had to be 45 to run for president, but thanks to that bill, you had to be 40 to run for president, but thanks to that bill, at the age of 35, you can run for the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Also today, at the age of 25, you can aspire to run for House of Reps, you can aspire to run for State House of Assembly, and thanks to that bill, we've had so many young people who've emerged in this 10th Assembly as a result of that bill. You are not too young to lead. In closing, I would like to remind us that you, at the age where you are now, you can create significant impact. You can begin where you are. You can begin with your classroom, with your neighborhood, to lead change in any areas that you identify where there's a gap. Take action, step up, use your voice, use your talent to shape a better future for yourselves and your communities. I'd like to remind you that age does not matter. And in the future, when next somebody tells you that you cannot because you're young, I want you to look them in the eye and say what? Oh yes, I am not too young to lead. Thank you.